but then where?
I'm starting the recording now. And so I'll call the meeting to order. It's May 15th, Sustainable Fairfield Task Force. And attending the meeting, we have members Ron Blumenfeld, Scott Thompson, Kirsten Chow, Daphne Dixon, Bob Wall, Jim Motivali, Rabab Hussain, Becky Bunnell, I was going to say Becky's iPad, which is what it says, Mary Hogue, Jim Marin, and Phil Leviev, and also participating from the public, Joan Zimmerman. All right, and this is Scott Thompson. So we've got the agenda that I sent around yesterday. Anybody need the agenda? I could probably share a screen. I wonder what would happen if I did that. Let's not do that.
We all have it.
Yeah, you all have it. Regarding minutes, minutes were sent out after the right after the last meeting because I was kind of keeping them live and I just pushed it out before I logged off. Treasurer report.
Yes, at the moment we have $8,046.07. 804607.
And are you aware of any liabilities?
Just upcoming ones for our a monthly Zoom account until we decide to discontinue it. Rabab has to submit an invoice to me once a month until we're done with that.
Is there any way we can pass this back to the town?
Yeah.
I don't feel like we should be springing for it if every committee is required to do the same thing, unless they're all doing it.
What the town
Well,
does, they set up a conference bridge, a conference call, which the town pays for. So if we wanted to use that for our meetings, we can do that. That's what I'm doing for flood and erosion.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So I actually asked if it was allowed to use Zoom so that we can continue the video conferencing feature. The town bridge, Becky, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's voice only.
It's voice only to my knowledge.
Yeah. So I thought it would be nicer for us all to video conference. And so I asked permission and got that. But given that, Bob, I don't think we can ask the town to cover the cost. I think the committee needs to out of our budget.
I have a question though. So commissions use WebEx. I know this, so like Zoning Board of Appeals were on WebEx. Would it be possible to ask if because WebEx you can see everybody?
Oh. Yeah, I can ask. I was given, I got an email that said use the town bridge, and it said voice only, and I said, boy, we'd like to continue video conferencing. We have a Zoom account. Can we use that? And they said, okay, you just have to record it. And here we are. But I can ask about the other option. I don't know the answer, Daphne.
Well, it's only about $15 a month, and we're not going to do it forever, so it's not really a major expense right now.
Right.
It's just the principle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the $15 a month. So.
All right, can we move on? Any updates on membership? I guess we don't have Larry here. I believe that Joan had expressed her interest. Joan, were you going to send me your resume, or am I misremembering that?
She has to unmute.
Joan has to unmute herself.
Joan, you have to unmute.
I'm trying. I tried to unmute.
Yeah, you did.
Yay.
Yes. I pulled my resume out. It's just kind of old, so thought I would update it and haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, you're working on it. I just couldn't remember, so thank you. And just let the record know, we got Dustin joining Sean Sullivan, and Peter is on too. Peter Krause. Okay. Per some requests I got, I shuffled our normal sequence around a little bit, so we could, I guess, get some things to talk about with the Green Wheels Expo and the logo refresh. So starting with, I'm getting some nasty feedback. Can I ask that folks mute their phones unless they're talking? Because that will, I'm pretty sure, solve it. Did that work? Yeah. Okay, good. I don't get the feedback anymore. All right, so monthly news item. Jim?
Yeah, I guess unless there is some new news or some upcoming event, there's always something upcoming we need to put trends out. I mean, I've been thinking that it would be a good time to perhaps do some content, and Mary and I were dialoguing a little bit about this. It might be interesting to do some content on what the lessons of the pandemic have been for the kind of world that ideally we might want to think about having coming out of the pandemic, that would be more sustainable and more conducive to the effort to fight climate change. And that we could, offer some guidance or insight or lessons or just kind of thought starters about things that people might have accidentally had to do during the pandemic that had kind of unintended environmental and sustainability benefits. And, think about extending some of those things into your life post the pandemic. And in the process, pointing people toward the resources from Earth Day that are going to continue to live on that site. That'll be very, very apropos for people who want to think about such things, and, all toward the cause of ensuring that all those resources into which a lot of hard work went, I know, might be kind of a living resource. So
yeah, Jim. I have, if I'm being honest, my gut reaction to that is it's really too early. Number one, to start. I mean, there are clearly environmental benefits, and we all know it, but yep. I would be concerned about, kind of gloating about that, and it could come across as gloating. Not that we would be, but it could come across as that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could, I'll defer to the consensus. I think, it could be written in a way that does not suggest that at all. It could be very sober and kind of realistic.
Second thing would be, I would just love to read something, that's one of my favorite parts of the day, is reading something that's not about the pandemic. And so I think we have so many things that we could talk about and just stay away from that topic. That's my opinion. So I'll put myself on mute now and let others share their opinions.
It's a fair point.
What about something like, I don't know, I mean, with people being at home and the weather getting nice, what about something about like the pollinator pathway or something like that? Because that's something that we can all work on during this time. So it's kind of a COVID byproduct. And it's so, I don't know, it's a happy, light topic. I mean, everybody likes butterflies, right?
Yeah, work on your pollinator garden, work in your garden, if you're finding yourself with more time on your hands.
Can I just
but I would want to stay away from, our carbon footprint's gone down so much since no one can drive anywhere. Yeah, let's just, not that you would do it that way, Jim, but just as a, extreme example.
Larry, can you just turn on your video? Can you hear us? Larry?
The pollinators have a little bit of traction right now because of those killer hornets that kill bees.
Yeah, but they're out in
I
Washington.
mean, it's basically true. You get more traction on news items when there's a current hook for it. And since those hornets destroy honeybee nests and present one more threat to pollinators, it does have that connection.
I think one thing to think about along the lines of lessons learned, like it or not, we're about to head into a pretty divisive few months heading into an election. And I would think everyone on this Zoom call and part of the task force, believes climate change is real, and the data and science are pointing towards addressing it and unifying over it, and globally. And, that could just go one way or another come November. It's very clear that there's state kind of guidance, but there's federal that can address it and bring it to the forefront or not. And so, I feel like maybe leading into, as we go, we should be bolder about what we've learned and what could happen next, and how data and science and predictive analytics should be looked at the larger threat that's out there. Because, we could end up for the next 4 years and continuing to go the opposite direction. So that's something to think about, because we could talk about pollinator pathway for 4 months, heading in, but, or we could, flex our muscle a little bit. Not to be too political here. Something to think about.
Does that mean you want to develop a political message? What's the bottom line?
We're not political. We're not political. We're town committee. So
We're not. No, we're not political.
We can talk about being, we could talk about ready to vote or something sort of neutral, but we can't be.
I just think it's more about talking about climate change, talking about the effects, talking about how to prepare, and being predictive about it, planning for it, talking about planning for it, and have that be our message. And it shouldn't be softer, it should be louder because of the pandemic. That is clear.
Oh, well, Phil, what about the idea of talking about climate change as it affects Fairfield, something we've done occasionally?
Sure.
Fairfield, as being a coastal town, is fairly threatened.
We did a whole webinar on it. Becky was on that webinar, so we did that. It was a very powerful webinar. I don't know if everyone got to see it. But.
I don't know what you're looking for. Are you looking for some press, or you want to have an article for?
This is our monthly news item. It's on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is the thing that we would typically post on the site to refresh the content on the site, and also, if sufficiently newsworthy, distribute.
We're coming out of this thing, right? I mean, the 15th is kind of the first phase out tomorrow. So
yeah, I'm trying to decide whether I want to fight a little bit from my original idea, with all due respect, about because I think yes, there's a lot being written about the pandemic, but this has been a wake up call for a lot of people, and the changes and what this has forced people to do, I think, has been a real eye opener. And we're going to come out of this, and people forget. So I think there is something to be said about doing this in the right way, which we can do. That just invites people to reflect on this experience before it's gone, and think about some of the happy unintended consequences of it, and invite them to reflect a little bit about some of these behaviors that maybe they could think about carrying forward. I don't know.
I have a question.
I'm sick of the pandemic too, but I think this is a powerful lesson. And if we want to be a little ballsy, maybe this is something we should think about doing. Forgive my French.
Sean.
I'm just wondering from the EV experts, I don't know, a lot of kids are disappointed they're not getting graduation, and I don't know if parents are considering buying their kids cars for graduation, but I think a nice article would be, if you're going to buy a new car for your graduate, buy an EV. I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know, I'd be happy to research it if you guys agree. I don't know. I don't even know if people have pocket money to buy a car for their kid.
Yeah, that would be my reaction to that, I'm afraid.
Mine too.
But I wonder, since the webinar was quite, was well received and full of information that's already there, can't the news brief this month be kind of a recap of that webinar, which also includes climate change issues and it's apolitical, and well, that work has already been done.
Joan, I was actually thinking the same thing. I have the electric vehicle webinar as just an audio file that I was going to play on the radio, but it'd be easy to just turn it into a story also.
I like the idea.
I would be concerned about, suggesting the hook is you might be thinking about buying your kid an EV.
I don't think we need to have that.
Yeah.
That's a little tone deaf with so many people out of work and stuff.
Yes, agreed.
Which makes the question of why do it now? I would rather do something that's sort of located in this time that we find ourselves in. But
I think Joan's suggestion is really fantastic, to say, hey, if you missed what went on during Earth Week, here's kind of like a summary, and here's where you can check it out. I think that is really the hot topic that we should hit first, and maybe pick it up for the next month, whether we want to do something more on climate change. But the hot topic is, if you missed the Earth Day stuff, you can still catch it.
There is a connection we could make to COVID, which is one of the emerging themes that's coming out of the pandemic, is that people see their cars as sort of a sanctuary. They've gotten somewhat leery of things like ride hailing. And when you're in your car, it's like, you know that it's clean and all that. So it sort of has focused people on their cars a bit.
Some of them have HEPA filters, which come in handy now.
Tesla has that.
So we're over 20 minutes and we're still on the first agenda item.
We got to move on.
So Jim, as the one that handles this, if you can digest what you've heard and maybe choose someone to kick some ideas around and decide what you want to do. All right?
Sure.
Sound good?
Jim, I would work on it with you.
Good.
Okay.
I'll give you a buzz.
All right. Facebook update. Rabab?
All right, so Earth Day was huge. We had a whole bunch of we were able to boost our posts. We had some great engagement. I actually a little different from Facebook, I have some YouTube numbers. We have 38 subscribers on our channel, and we had 1,245 views of all the webinars, which was pretty cool. And about close to 8,000 minutes was watched. So that's how many people so there was quite a bit of, and 66 likes and 27 comments and 35 shares. So it was cool to have that YouTube channel. That was exciting. And we got a lot of engagement on Instagram. Facebook is usually crickets. I don't know that people are necessarily logging into that, not even moms of Fairfield. I think people are kind of tuned Facebook out. There's just no way to filter all those pandemic related articles, which I think are just depressing everyone at this point. But Instagram is huge. I mean, we had 80, 90 likes on some of our stuff, which was awesome. So that's a lot of engagement, a lot of comments, a lot of sharing, reposting on Instagram. So a lot of people were the Sustainable Trumbull, Sustainable Weston. They share a lot of our content, which is cool. And some of the businesses, Action Container Service. I mean, everyone's just a whole community, and they all share, and we share their stuff, and they share our stuff. So. It's great. I think we're getting a lot of traction on Instagram. The boosts worked. I sent Ron that stuff over, and that's it. And people love the Earth Day concert. I mean, it was just a great month for social media and Sustainable Fairfield to be on there.
Go Bob.
Thank
Just
you,
on, under that, I remember a couple Zoom calls ago, we were figuring out if we were going to sing a song at like 12:01 on Earth Day and what the strategy was. That was my idea. But hats off to everybody because a little bit of chaos, never hurt anyone, but it was pretty well done, I think.
It
So,
was.
yeah.
That's it. That's my update.
Okay, thanks for Bob. Regarding quarterly workshops, we had talked about rescheduling the sustainable homes talk. I feel like I saw an email from Rainer Schramm. Anybody else see that? Let me just check that out.
Yeah, I've been in contact with Rainer. I have a draft of my homes module that I shared with some people, and he's provided some comments as well. Yeah, but I don't know if he is looking to have a workshop or how that would go as we open up again. Are we an essential committee?
Well, I think
Could we feature his home?
yeah, I think what we should
On
do
a
is
video?
ask him if he can do a virtual tour,
Yeah.
like a live virtual tour. I think that would be really cool. Anybody want to work with Rainer on that?
I will.
I guess, yeah, I can help too. Maybe, yeah. Daphne, maybe you and I.
Yeah. I've known him a long time. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I think
We
he's.
used to organize green drinks in Stanford together.
Tour, so I think he'd be good on video.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh, come on, man.
Mary, if you can mute, please. All right. So Daphne, you'll reach out to Rainer.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. To do virtual, I'm just catching up the minutes. All right, Green Wheels Expo.
Okay. So we had so Mary and I had our monthly meeting. Peter wasn't able to join us, but
Yeah.
talked with Mary later, and I guess, and we've looped in Dustin, who's awesome with all of this kind of virtual stuff. And the thought is that we're going to plan for a virtual event, and then if things change, we can always do something in person, but plan for virtual with the help of Dustin's technical expertise and creativity.
You know, at first I was like, what? Why can't we just all be outside in the parking lot together? But, you know.
Well, Mary brought up a good point. We don't even know if the town would allow us to gather like that.
Yeah, we don't know if the state will allow us to have a gathering that big in September. So I think there's some really good lemonade we can make with a virtual event. It actually might be cool to like get as many EV owners as we can to make little, like, you know, 45-second videos, and or somehow, you know, not do it, I would say not do it primarily as a live event, maybe have a live piece, like a live hour, but then use this to drive like a whole bunch of content from all the entire EV community. I think there's a kind of a neat idea there, and that could be built into a website too.
I've seen this done two ways. One, you could have individual videos of people talking about their cars, or you can sort of edit it into all, like, say, 1 hour thing where you have the different discussions of the cars sort of run into each other, or with maybe a title slide in between them. So it's like a 1 hour presentation. It could be done either way, I think.
Can I ask a question and play devil in a minute? I actually think that in September, we can figure out a way to do a social distancing event that would probably get more eyeballs than trying to do a virtual. I'm just nervous that we're going to get the same old, our normal people, but isn't the EV Showcase all about bringing new people into the EV world? And I kind of think that we could structure it in a big parking lot in a way that satisfies all the social distancing, and I think it'd be more impactful.
Well, you may be right, but in terms of the social distancing, but I think the size of the gathering would be too large under current guidance, and unless that guidance is relaxed by September, which I don't think we know if it will be, we won't be able to have a gathering of more than, well, right now it's 10 people, isn't it? Right? Maybe it'll go up to 50, but even then our event would be too big for 50.
Well, they're doing a parade for the graduations. I mean, we could do it as a parade. We could, I mean, there's ways to structure it so that we sequence people, you know, in time slots maybe, or I don't know. It just feels, I just think that we're not going to get the impact trying to do it virtually, but that's just a point of view.
You know, one possibility is along the lines of a parade, but if people are distancing themselves within the parking lot, and there is a parade, so to speak, of the electric cars, and there was someone at a microphone talking about what the cars are that are passing by and the advantages of each car. Well, whatever. Something to think
First year we had, not the first year, yeah, maybe like 6 years ago, we had a rally. There was an EV rally. We could sponsor something like a rally where cars would be spaced out in time, and you could have different types of car, invite different like classes of cars to do the rally and to time them and do it like a real road rally and see if that would work.
Okay.
I think there's probably ways we could do it, but Scott's probably right that it could actually just be illegal, and that wouldn't allow us to structure it anyway. I mean,
road rallies are illegal?
No, what we're trying to say is, Daphne and I, it takes months to plan.
Okay.
So what we're saying is we're planning, we originally were planning for an in-person with a backup of virtual. So we're flipping it with a primary of planning for virtual with a backup of in-person. So we can do a hybrid, so in other words, we have to plan this entire time. We've been planning. We've been having monthly calls. We are now going to have bi-weekly calls. You're welcome to participate. We're not planning now. This is just an update to let you know that we flipped it. And we're going to start having every other week calls for the planning of the Green Wheels Expo. But the focus is that we're planning to do it virtually, and the nuts and bolts of that planning is happening on those bi-weekly calls. So we don't want to take up the time of the task force to plan the Green Wheels Expo. We're just, that was just the update. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense to plan for it to be virtual. I would say if you can plan for it to be virtual with some type of live component, whether it's maybe a photo op where people don't get out of their cars or whatever, or there's a rally or some kind of live component. But you're right, we shouldn't plan it on this call. That's not the purpose of this call. But I would offer, if you guys think it makes sense, I'm sorry, Mary, it seems like whenever you're unmuted, I get the feedback. Sorry. Yeah, that fixed it. It's you. Sorry. Hey, the idea was we've got our workshop, our working group this Friday, and so maybe we could have the agenda for the working group, not this Friday, but later this month, the fourth Friday, could be on this topic, and we could really deep dive, or to Mary, Daphne, Peter that have the bi-weekly calls, is that overkill? And would you prefer just to do your bi-weekly calls?
Why don't we, I mean, it's a working group is always a good idea. I think it's a little premature right now. We have a lot of ducks to get in a row before we can talk coherently about the planning.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add, you know, nobody likes a live event more than I do. I love face-to-face gatherings and always have and always will. I think we're living in such unpredictable times, and I'm just of the opinion that until this COVID thing is really under control, I don't feel comfortable planning something that's face-to-face because we just don't know what's going to happen, especially with fall coming. There could be a second wave or something like that. And as much as I want to do face-to-face events, I just would prefer to err on the side of caution. And as much as I understand and appreciate and to a lot of degree agree with what Becky said, I'm nervous about, or just feel a responsibility not to do anything face-to-face until it's really okay. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You guys had good foresight in shifting gears. I think you're going in the right direction. Anything else key before we move on? Okay.
One thing I could just say about Green Wheels Expo is that the whole pandemic has sort of slowed down the auto industry, and it's delayed a lot of new model introductions. So there's not going to be a whole lot of new cars to show. So we can't really think of it as so much as a new model introduction thing.
Jim, has this delayed a lot of the Porsche and the Audi and the VW introduction program, the slates that they were preparing for this summer?
The Porsche Taycan's already out there. It's already on sale. So it probably slowed down those Volkswagens, though. And people aren't going to showrooms at all. In fact, people are, the same way that we're talking about a virtual event, people are buying cars virtually. They're not going to showrooms.
Okay. Let's move on to item number 1E, which is the logo refresh. Kirsten, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Can I share my screen? I probably most of you were on the last call where we presented the work of Karen Carell, but we have an update for you, and I'll try to run through these slides quickly, just for the benefit of the recording and also for anyone who wasn't on our last call. There's repetition in some of the background here, but it's probably worth going through. So we were looking to, revamp our logo, and so we created a little subcommittee of folks to work on that, and Mary was really fortunate to make a connection with her friend who's a global branding and package designer, and who was willing to do this work for us for gratis, which was really generous of her. She went through a really interesting and thorough process with us of asking us what our objectives were. It was very useful. We all on the committee found the whole process very useful and interesting. Our objectives were to communicate our task force purpose, goals, and the benefits of the task force for the town. We were looking for something that would be suggestive of the multiple components of the group, sort of the diversity amongst the actual people that comprise the group, but also the diversity and interconnectivity of the work, the various facets of the work that we do in the town. We wanted something that was friendly and welcoming, but also distinctive and memorable. We talked a lot about the logos that stick in our heads when We all have them. My son, before he could speak words, knew what Home Depot was because we live near it, and that logo is so memorable. Something that's functional, and here her background was really incredible to her understanding of how it could be. It needs to be something that could be very fluid, what's the word, iterative, fluid, that you could use it at multiple sizes. You could change its orientation. You could have it on different substrates and backgrounds, and it could be printed or online, and without causing any hiccups with the technologies. Something that was appropriate for being a town body, and something that could be used as an endorsement, or like we brought up the example of kind of the business certification program, and being able to have something that would look good in the window of a store, for instance. So that when she asked us to take a deeper dive into the part about the diversity of our different efforts on the task force, you know, what we got to was that we obviously we work on issues around the natural environment, the air, the water, wildlife, plants, but that we also, you know, we fall under this broader definition of sustainability that isn't always apparent to people, that it's also about the built environment, that it's also about humans and equity issues and health and livelihood, economic livelihood, and literally the ability to sustain oneself in perpetuity. We also wanted something that was going to connote something positive, sort of a forward thinking vision, happy earth and a protected planet. She asked us to really drill down that it was not just we are a local body, but we are part of this wider community in Connecticut. So we didn't want something that was, we needed something that was, you know, not only Fairfield specific. So we looked at a lot of different options that she gave us, and then we drilled down into the one that resonated the most for all of us. This is Karen's description of it. The proposed new logo of the Sustainable Fairfield Task Force is a grouping of 7 colorful organic shapes arranged to suggest movement with a central focus. It could be described to look like a living plant, a dancing flame, or even a community. The different but complementary shapes suggest diverse and collaborating entities that unite in their efforts and successfully form a whole. The organic nature of the shapes and their bright natural colors suggest positive, beneficial, healthful results encompassing the many facets of sustainability. So based on our last meeting, we got feedback from everyone on the call. And that feedback included that they would have liked to have seen a more sophisticated color scheme, and to have more alignment between the color scheme of this logo and that of the Sustainable Youth CT logo. So Karen came back with this, what we sort of describe as a more muted version of all of the colors. There was a concern that we had about being able to print this or view this on a white background or a black background. So that's the words sustainable and Fairfield are in sort of a brighter color than the Sustainable Youth CT, but that's the reason for that, because we felt that it was important to be able to view the words here on a dark background. Here are 3 different options she's laid out for those words in different colors. Nice. We can come back to that and have some discussion about that. The same logo in horizontal orientation. And how the logo would look on various different items, and again, the black or white background. Here's on our webpage. Ignore all the stuff all around it, which could be better. On letterhead. And here, a grayscale version, which was something I know people wanted to see on our last call. I think that might be the last. Oh, and as a window sticker. Mm-hmm. One of the other things that I think that came up on our last call was having a 2-color version. Karen did propose a couple, or came up with some of those. However, she doesn't think, correct me if I'm speaking incorrectly, folks on the subcommittee, but my understanding was that basically there's really no concern about cost differential between, I'm sorry, I gotta close the door, between a 2-color and a 4-color version. I think that was what came out of it. So we don't think that we need really a 2-color version.
Yeah, she checked. There's absolutely no price difference between the two. So,
just so we're clear though with this, we still need to define a single color version for things that are just black and white. So
there it is, right? It's on the screen right now.
So that's it there. Okay.
That's the grayscale.
That's okay. Sorry, my son is very involved in what's happening here right now.
Okay.
As usual. So happy to welcome comments.
I'm going to go back to that 3 different versions one, in case anyone wanted to talk about that. Is there any interest in going different from version A, which is what was proposed?
I like the middle one. Very nice, and version A is probably the best one.
I'm just so happy with what she did, and I just think this is a huge, this is a big deal, and I think this is really a fantastic logo for us for all the reasons that Kirsten so exceptionally shared with us. I think it's awesome.
The only question that I have is, should we have a little bit of information underneath the word Fairfield? So there might be the website.
Yeah, we could have a
Because there are Fairfields all around the country.
I think we're talking about a logo here. So I think the less we have, the better.
And in some situations, we can always decide later to add information. But yeah, I think if we could just agree on this is our starting point with the logo, and then we can always
Looks
add.
great. Looks great.
If you were putting it on a shirt or something, you probably would want the website on there, but I don't think it has to be finished design right now just to approve this logo.
So version A is okay, which is what was presented as the you know.
Looks great.
I think it's okay.
I think the new colors are really great too.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah,
My only
I
concern
like it too.
with a black background would be, I think maybe like a white text, like the T-shirt with the black T-shirt. I think the green and blue text on a black background is not easy to read from more than a few feet away. But that's a very minor, that has nothing to do with the actual logo, more just to do with the, you know, printing on a shirt.
What about the,
We could do it with if we print it on a black shirt, couldn't we just do a white background around the logo to have it stand out?
no.
No.
It's a nitpick. It's not big. I
What
would
is
say
one with the mug, Kirsten? Can we zoom in on the mug one, maybe? Or does it help? Maybe put my glasses on.
Is that with version A, the mug?
Yeah, all this is version A.
Because I find version B with the word sustainable in the brighter green, I like sustainable, you know, sticking out more.
The way it is on the backpack is the way Daphne just suggested, maybe
Yes.
with a white background so you can see what that looks like.
No, I really don't like that.
So before we start talking about how it gets used, do you think we are ready to at least pick from the 3 versions, or do folks, I really hope not, but do folks feel like we need to do more work on creating options?
I didn't hear any dissent to the version 1.
I make a motion that we choose version A.
Can we go back to that slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and is there a second to Daphne's motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Fine.
Let me just go around. Let me go around the table to have, because there's no way for everyone to vote in favor all at once here. Sorry.
Can we just do reactions?
Give me a second here.
Yeah, we can all just.
So I'd like to make it official, all right, if we could. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of option A, Ron?
I'm abstaining.
Kirsten?
Yay.
Daphne?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jim Motivali?
Yes.
Rabab?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Jim Marin?
I have a slight preference for version B, but not a strong one.
All right, so that's a no. Jim, is that a no or a yes?
That's make it a yes.
Phil?
I have a preference for version 2 and 3. So I'm a no.
Phil, we're voting on the motion to
Yes or
make it
no?
A.
So it's a no.
No. Sean?
No.
Peter?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Bill?
I like B.
Bill, is that a no then? That's a no, all right.
Yes or no?
And Scott's a yes, so we've got 4 no's.
And an abstention. It passes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Nice job, Kirsten. And
Oh, I really had
Team.
nothing. I had very little to do with
Yeah.
this, Karen. Where's my
Nice job.
mouse? Come on now. Oh, I have to.
Yeah. Up top.
Yeah, my mouse is
Uh,
acting up.
there you
Okay,
go.
Thank you.
Sorry, just doing the minutes here. Okay. We are done with the logo, or is there more, Kirsten?
I think we're done.
Okay. Ron, item 2A.
Okay, an update on the sustainability plan. Other than the plan preamble, which has been updated by Jim and me, there are 11 old modules, of which 8 are finished and 1 which has just come in. So it's going to need a little work. The new modules, of which there are 6, none are finished. And I have 2 which need a little work, and the other 4 I have not gotten. So we still need a little work to get them done. Those people who haven't gotten done with theirs, I think you know who you are. I don't think I know how. I don't need to read the names out. So we just need to get them done. I'm curious about whether the timetable for the POCD has changed at all, because our intent was to get this into the people who were doing the town's POCD so that our plan was involved in it.
I did hear from Emmeline, actually Becky, it was on your webinar. Emmeline did say that it would be changed, but she didn't go into detail. So it would elongate it, but she didn't explain what that meant.
Well, insofar as that we were planning on having this done by May 1st, it's not all that much past May 1st, and we probably have some time. I would like to err on the side of getting it done rather than wait any longer. So if those folks who have modules to do can just kind of get them done, that would be great. Certainly it isn't an emergency, but it would be good to just, press forward and get them done. So again, that's what I had to say about it.
Yeah, hey, Ron, I really appreciate that you're pursuing this in the way you are, and the follow-up has been great. Can you at the beginning, you stated there was so many X that you thought were pretty much finished and so many Y that were really making good progress. Can you repeat those numbers you had stated?
Sure. Of the modules that were in the 2018 plan, there are 11 of those, and 8 are completed, with 1 more needing a little bit of final work. Of the new modules that we've added for the 2020 plan, there are 6. None of them are finalized, but 2 are on the way to being finalized. And so there are 4 of the 6 that I haven't received yet. And the preamble, which has been done and updated.
So Ron, you said there's 11 in the original plan. 8 are pretty much done. 1 is almost done. What about the other 2 in the original plan?
I'm still waiting for them.
Okay.
Basically, I don't think there's much on those other 2. I think people are checking things out with other people in the town just to be sure they have the facts right, and we're waiting for those things to come back.
All right, thank you, Ron. Anything else? Okay.
On reviewing, when I have all the modules, I'm not thinking it would be a good idea to send them all out to the entire task force. There are about 7 or 8 people who've worked on the new plan, and I think I'd like to circulate that among those 8 before we let it loose. I don't want to get comments from 18 people. on this and that and so on. So I'm thinking that we can filter it through the 8 people who are working on the sustainability plan and then have the whole group look at it, if that's okay. And I would hope that at that point, only terribly bad things that need to be fixed would be raised. Certainly I welcome typos, grammar stuff and so on, and certainly anything that has to do with facts. But other than that, after it gets through the 8 who work on the plan, I'd like to think that it's pretty much ready, except for those awful things that other people might see that we haven't seen. That's it.
Okay. Thanks for that, Ron. Anything else on the PSCD or the strategic plan?
Well, also, I just wanted to Kirsten and I have yet to get together on this, but we're working on porting the sustainability plan to the web. So that's the next step that we're working on.
Great.
Great.
And then what Scott just mentioned. So John Wynn said that he had a draft of the strategic plan, and especially related to what we're going through right now, he wants to take a really strong look at a rewrite. So he was very, I haven't had a chance to talk to him about what that means, but he wants to revisit and make some major changes to it. So I think that's going to elongate that as well.
Okay. Bob, Clean Energy Action Plan?
I have put all my focus onto the sustainability plan. So once we're done with that, I'll shift over and start bugging people about the energy plan.
Thank you, Bob. And do we have any matters to bring up regarding state or federal action?
The Killingly comments are due May 27th, and we did actually write a letter, and I thought we would like to follow up on that.
Meaning what, Mary?
Well, we already wrote a letter, and we have the option to write comments related to Killingly again. So I know Phil and Scott had been very vocal in the past, so I would assume that they would probably want to take the lead on that regarding, I think it had to do with water issues.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that, right? It was about wastewater, but yeah, do you happen to have the instructions on how to submit comments? And if you do, I would probably just send the letter that we wrote in under those instructions.
Really, what you do is, you send it to the administrator, but I can send that all to you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Find my pen. Oh, there it is.
Is that too political for us to do as a news item? Is that if we wrote something about that, explaining it to people and explaining what the issues are and saying you can write in here, you can write to here? Would that be too political for us?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so. I think that would be definitely fair game.
Well, would that be a good climate change newsletter then?
I also wanted to point out that we, in our legislator forum on Earth Day, all 4 of our legislators were very much in favor or in support of our comment to not build the Killingly plant, and were very anti-fracking. In particular, Tony Huang was very vocal about that, just in general, the concept of fracking. I wrote an email to Phil and Scott about that, and I I noted, I think it was, I think 31 minutes into the forum. So I'll dig up that email that I sent. I'll send it. I thought I sent it to everyone, but maybe it was just to you guys. So I'll put that all together and send it to you guys. So
Great.
that's our. So now I'm confused. I'll send it to everyone, and you guys can figure out what you want to do. Because now I have down that Jim and Jim are doing the news feed. So.
Bob, you put that on social media, didn't you? I think at one point you said this is our stance and this is a letter that we had open, or no?
Yeah, no, the letter is there. It's up there. And we put it up there and said you can use it to draft your own letter. Yeah.
I think, you know, since we have public comments up until the 29th, and maybe, you know,
27th.
refresh that post and just, you know, maybe say, hey, there's public comments now available if you want to. These were our comments. Here's how you submit yours.
I think that I recall writing an individual letter to Katie Dykes. I don't remember exactly how I did it, but it was online, and I was able to use some kind of a template letter that was out there. Maybe that's what people are talking about.
Through Sierra Club,
Not
maybe.
to Katie Dykes, it's to Pura. Katie Dykes is DEP.
Ron, I think you used the letter that I had drafted.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
And yeah. Okay. We've got a little over 20 minutes left, and we're about halfway through the agenda, so we better start ripping a little bit ahead here. So let me give the update on the solar projects. Tomlinson, I've seen no movement. Our LMS is permitted and is going to be going into the construction as soon as what would have been the end of the school year is over. And Burr, I understand that Burr is in a tiny bit of limbo because they did not get the permits. There was some review going on with Burr.
You want to elaborate on what kind of review?
I don't have any details. I think the word audit was used, but I'm not sure, maybe not an audit, but it was basically there was a review of all the solar projects. So that kind of held up the kind of permit for Burr.
A review from who? From our
The
leadership?
The town.
The town reviewed all solar, the ones that were approved, yeah?
Let me sorry, I don't want to misquote it here. Let me see what the email says that I got from Micah Brill, and I'll tell you exactly what
From Micah Brill?
Yeah, he's the
yeah.
He's the contractor that's works for. Okay, and I quote, we are waiting on Burr Street school permits. These have been held up by the town's review of solar procurement. I think we are close though. So it sounds like the new administration was just kind of doing a review. That would be what I infer, but I don't know beyond what the words I just said. Okay. Any updates on EV charging infrastructure?
Yes, I'll put 2 and 3 together. So EV charging infrastructure, developing an RFP, and EVs for the town fleet. So I'm working on a plan that incorporates both of those. And I should have an update at our next task force meeting on that. And then the next one, electric school bus transition, 10 electric school buses. So I've been in touch with Angelus a lot, and we are trying to figure out our next move as far as the grants. The VW grant will be, the application will be up probably in the middle of June, but to qualify 1 or 2 of the buses, we need to find a bus that's 2009 or older that's in the fleet. So he's checking with, he's looking at the contract, and he's checking with the transportation fleet person to see if there's any electric school buses, any regular diesel buses that are 2009 or older. If we don't have any buses that are 2009 or older, we can't apply for VW. But then what we'll do is we will put our sights on the DEER grant that comes up later. But we will still continue to work on our team and building out our project. So we're still going to get those buses, and we're still going to get a grant. So still working on it all the time.
I came across came across the situation where I heard of a school in Colorado that is working on applying for electric school bus grants. So it sounds like there's going to be, as the word gets out, more and more competition for these. So I know you.
Well, the VW grant, it's Connecticut. We won't compete for the DERA, but the Connecticut DERA and VW is just Connecticut.
Even within Connecticut, you're doing such a good job at getting the word out that we're going to be arm wrestling with all the other towns, and that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
Hopefully we all get buses. buses for everyone.
Buses for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on clean energy? Okay. Any updates on? Daphne, I just have to backtrack. There really weren't any updates for items B or C for the minutes.
Oh, for the EV chart for 2 and 3, I have. I'm working on a plan. So there's a plan in progress you can put, and
for what? For item B or item C?
For both.
Okay.
Yep. I'll have more information. I just don't have enough.
I'm going to just say no update for now. That's because,
Well, no, the update is that there's a plan that I'm working on. So there is an update. There's a plan that's being worked on.
Okay.
That's an update.
All right. Moving on to food and waste. First item is the composting pilot. Last time we were talking about arranging for a drop-off location. Any update on that?
I had reached out to the head of We Care Denali, which is the new company that was Harvest New England before, and have not heard back. So no major update, although I will say that we did certainly have a composting webinar as part of Earth Day. So we are working on composting things, but there's no update on a drop-off location at this point.
Okay. And Sherman Elementary pilot. It's probably a little impossible to get schools to think about this right now.
No update. And pollinator pathway, we're basically just sending out emails to people, but that's just we're trying to get back up to speed on that, but there's no update there either.
Okay. Meatless Monday. Justin? Yeah.
No real update on that front. We have list of restaurants that we have been working on for a while now. I think what I'd like to do, and anyone's welcome to chime in on this. We started what our kind of like agenda would be, I guess, for the year or something on what we can do related to food. This was kind of before the pandemic hit. I think if we can kind of skew that more towards something relevant to the pandemic and how people are currently, their current lifestyles. Because obviously going out to restaurants is not so much of a thing, maybe soon outdoors, whatever, right? But, I think to kind of just add a little bit of that, that mindset into what we've already have put on paper, I think that would, be a little more timely and, relevant. So
Yep.
that'll come soon. I'll send out an email to everyone that's been on the chain. If anyone else wants to join in, we can kind of brainstorm where that could go, what maybe has become more important than other things on that list that we put together.
I might be biased because I'm a home gardener, but to me, the times really seem like they're ripe for, a push for more home gardening. Think of like victory gardens, right? World War II. Well, now we can have virus gardens, or there's a better name for it than that, but I guess it could be victory gardens.
Yeah, virus I think is not one of the buzzwords.
Scott recorded a line here.
I know. A little humor.
But I think in conjunction with I think it was Kirsten who shared, the local foods page. I think that's something we could certainly try to, circulate more because, buying from, factory produced places and such, has caused quite the bottleneck right now. If you look at shortages with, different types of foods. And so, supporting locally grown food certainly helps that a bit. So it's something we can skew towards, I think, for sure. And as well as a number of other things. I don't want to take up too much time because I know we're short, but I think we can, definitely keep that conversation going. There's definitely no shortage of food topics when it comes to sustainability, and especially with a pandemic, which is, could have been caused by, wet markets, things like that, the consumption of animals.
Just an interesting aside to that, the CSA that I organize, I used to organize the location in New York City for the same farm, and we always sold out. When I moved up here and started organizing it, it was just a much harder sell. We have 40 shares, and we would hover around like 22, 23 members every year. And this year we got just slammed. We sold out. So it's fascinating to me that people are, to me, this is a sort of a silver lining, but people are much more concerned about their food supply and knowing their farmers and supporting a local farm. And I think that's the nice stories that Jim talks about, telling, I think. Sorry.
That's a really interesting anecdote, and I would love to know if what your CSA experienced is being felt by all CSAs and all local food purveyors. I've seen stuff about Sport Hill Farm.
Certainly, our farm we're about 1,200 members, most of whom are in New York City. But yeah, everybody got a big increase in interest to the point, they sold out. Typically, as I mentioned, we don't sell out our shares, but typically we're selling shares even into the growing season for a few weeks, and it's all spoken for at this point, which is good for the farm. But yeah, I think that across the board, local farmers are experiencing a demand. Yeah.
I think that's a great newsletter.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
That combines what Jim was kind of talking about before, like kind of a COVID thing, but also it's kind of a positive thing. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be good to highlight, all the farms that are in Fairfield. I have no idea about all the farms. I know of a few, but also like a best practice. Scott, you say you're growing your own garden. I think a lot of people are. We always
newsletters because Jim's already done that.
He did, but
Phil.
Best practices on growing the garden.
I just saw an item that said that the Westport Farmers Market was opening up.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And is that also going to happen in Fairfield? Will there be some kind of farmers market in Fairfield this year?
They're open, Jim. They're just doing curbside.
Well, it looked like the one in Westport was going a little beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay.
They can't. They just can't. I did just want to jump in really quickly because it was Dustin's. He was an absolute rock star with Earth Day and the website and with every aspect of every graphic, every link, everything. He watched all the webinars. I mean, he was a total rock star.
Nailed it.
Can we just say thank you? He is volunteering, and he volunteered way beyond the time that he needed to put in to really make sure everything was working out seamlessly. So thank you hugely from all of us, Dustin, for that one. Yay. Yeah, sorry, had to jump in because we didn't do that. We had to thank Dustin here. We'll devote the next meeting to you, Dustin.
Okay. Moving on here. I know that we've postponed the mattress recycling. Mary, you asked me to add an item on the Fairfield Earth Day scholarship.
Yeah, I got an email from them. They wanted to know if we were going to do our scholarship this year, and I would hope that we are, since they asked. So I assume that means that they're going to be giving out scholarships. So we give, I believe, two $250 scholarships, one to each of the public high schools. We have very minimal criteria. I can dig up what it is, but it's basically, I think, you have to have like a average, you basically have to graduate. I don't think you have to really have a very high grade GPA. You don't even have to promise that you'll, save the planet, anything. You just really have to, have some interest in sustainability and have an interest in, I don't really remember the criteria, but it's something that we've done through the Earth Day committee for, I think, 4 or 5 years. Larry, you're on. Do you remember any of this? I can ask Mary Kate. You're muted, I think, Larry. I'm going to unmute yourself. There. Go ahead.
I don't remember the criteria, but it was a highlight. It was worthwhile doing. Definitely.
We really wanted it to be something that it wasn't a high bar, because some of these scholarships are ridiculous in terms of what the kids have to do. We really wanted it to be where it was, and the kids that get the scholarships, generally we used to have an arts contest, and they were usually the kids ended up being the kids that had won the arts contest. So they were really invested already. So we already knew them. But the, so we got a background of the kids, and they were very invested in sustainability. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Is this for 2020 graduates, or is it for 2020? Okay.
This year.
And then who selects the recipients?
The High School Scholarship Foundation.
So they just need, do they need us to approve the criteria or just the money?
They already have the criteria. We gave it to them years ago, but they just need the money.
Well, my opinion is that given that a large part of our bank account is from a rollover from the Earth Day committee, on the one hand, we're not currently raising money through that mechanism, but there is a lot of money from that organization, that legacy organization. So I would be in favor of this, of the $500 this year.
Okay, so that is the motion.
Meeting. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch.
See you, Jim.
Bye. Wait, Jim. Jim.
Oh, picture.
I'm gonna
I'll
make it
text-
come back on.
I'll text him.
Before people leave, everyone turn their lights on, look directly into your cameras, and just smile, because I might as well take this picture. But let's get Jim
You
on.
got some people that are really dark. Bob, Sean, there you go.
Sean, Jim, Sharon.
Bill, you
How's
gotta
my hair?
turn your camera sideways.
Bill, turn your camera sideways.
There you go.
Who's the
Yes.
on someone that's calling in?
I don't know who is that.
Oh, hey, Mary, it's Alexis Harrison.
Oh, hi, Alex.
All right.
Yeah,
Is Jim coming back?
No.
Now or never, Bob.
Okay, all right. Everyone just smile then.
You don't want to just do a print screen? I'll email it to you.
Yeah, do a print screen.
I'm doing it. Everyone smile. All right, I'm gonna take another one. Smile again. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I think we got it. I'll email it to everyone.
So anyway, so Scott made a motion, I guess?
No, I didn't.
I started too. But
Oh, Sean made a motion. Okay.
I make a motion that we devote $500 to the scholarship.
Second.
A second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Is there anyone opposed to this, or if anyone's opposed, let me know, or else I'll put it down as unanimous.
Unanimous.
It's unanimous.
Can we take another picture? I'm sorry, I didn't know where it went.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were opposed for Bob. Let me just, hold on, guys. I want to give folks, if anyone's opposed, a chance to say I'm opposed. So give me a count of 5 before we do anything else. Anyone opposed? Okay.
All right, so on 3, another picture. I don't know where they went. Dustin, where did they go? All right, hold on. 1, 2, 3. All right, awesome.
Jim says you got to let him back in. He's trying to get back in.
Oh, okay.
We have to smile again.
Oh my God.
Good, he's
All
back
right.
though. That's good.
Bob, come back.
I let him back in.
Wait, Bob.
Here he
Bob,
comes.
come back.
Hey,
Bob, come back.
Bob.
Who's on the phone?
Smile again, Bob.
Jim, put your video on.
Okay.
There,
smile.
yay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jim. All right, again, on 3. Bill,
What are
you're
we doing?
frozen.
What are we doing?
We're
We're
smiling.
Taking a picture, Jim.
Picture.
All right, there we go. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, Jim, you can go now.
Thanks,
All right,
Jim.
I'm going.
Okay. Sustainable Fairfield County.
Okay, Sustainable Fairfield County. We had Gannon Long, who's from Transport Hartford. She came and did a presentation on multimodal, and she's also going to be, we also talked about walkability audits, and she's going to be sending me a Connecticut-focused walkability audit that we can share, that we'll share with all of our Sustainable Fairfield County members. So that was great. And then Clean Cities Coalition update. We did a electric school bus toolkit 6-week program to teach people in communities around Connecticut on how they could get electric school buses, the whole process you have to go through, whether the towns own their buses or they use a service provider. And we've had 23 towns participate and 40 people. And next week is our last week, and we have Connecticut Deep coming to talk about the different grants, so everybody can learn about the grants. So there'll be lots of applications for Deep to look at this year when it comes to VW funding. And then on May 27th, we have the National Conference on Sustainable Development.
Sorry, Daphne, what's the date of the Deep event?
It's part of this. It's part of the 6-week program. So it's people who have registered. It's next Thursday. It's the 21st.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yep. And then on May 27th, we have the National Conference on Sustainable Development, Electric School Bus Toolkit, and that's May 27th from 10 to 12:30. And I can send out a flyer and a registration link to everybody. And if you're interested, please come.
Thanks, Daphne. All right, PTA Council.
They're meeting right now, so I'm missing it. They're having a major restructuring. But I still get to be on it next year. Whoopee! They still are interested in incorporating sustainability, so we're still part of them.
Okay. Thank you. Sustainable Connecticut Youth.
So Mary and I discussed this a little bit, and we were thinking, would it be okay, and I don't know if we need to vote on this, for them to be able to use our Zoom account to have their meetings? Because we're just going to push them to have more meetings, and is that okay to do?
I think that's fine.
All right.
Why not?
Yeah. Awesome. And then the second thing we were thinking was to incorporate them to a certain extent into our website that we have with the town, to sort of give them a category or a spot. And potentially they're doing good with social media. They had fun with it on Earth Day quite a bit. And so potentially down the line, looking at a Zoom budget, a boost budget, but probably not yet. That's just something that they will decide, but would that be potentially a possibility or not so much?
I love the idea of them having.
I don't see why not.
Some space on our website. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever post their testimonies anywhere? I mean,
I needed my daughter to get through her finals, and then she can edit the CTN stuff to get those clips. So yeah.
All right, we're 2 minutes over right now. EV Club of Connecticut. Phil?
We have a meeting tomorrow night. We have a Zoom meeting. We haven't caught up in a while, so I think it's at 7 o'clock. If you're on the mail or if you're on the email list, you should have the invite. If anybody needs it, I can send it out. But yeah, it's pretty quiet right now.
All right. Earth Day celebration recap. We did the well-deserved congratulations and thanks and applause for Dustin. But Mary, do you have anything else that you want to quickly add? I want to also congratulate you and everybody that worked on this. This was just a phenomenal team effort. I saw everybody.
And Rabab.
Pitching
Rabab
in.
did a lot. Rabab did a lot.
Yeah. Rabab, Jim,
and Mary, and Jim.
everybody. You guys.
I didn't do anything.
Absolutely amazing.
We actually still have some things we want to load up there. What we thought we'd try and do is really fill it out so that then we'll have it all complete and robust, so that we can just take it and redo next year. So I'm working actually with Sophie Keeley, who Dustin has gotten to know very well. He redesigned the logo for her. Sustainable Sophie is her website, so you might want to check it out. She's a sophomore at Ludlow, soon to be a junior, and she's helping me with that. So we actually it's still being refreshed. But yeah, the webinars are all really interesting. So I strongly recommend you take a look at them.
It was awesome. The whole week was awesome. It was just amazing.
It was really great. And
about everything that happened. It was terrific.
The concert was cool. When I was on, there was about 45 people.
Oh, way more
watching
than
it live.
Total.
That was just on YouTube, because I was watching it from my Fire TV. So, all right, Merritt Parkway Trail Alliance, no update. Well, actually, that's not true. We had a meeting with the Green Shoes on solar, but we really didn't talk much about the Merritt Parkway Trail project. So, any other new business or other announcements before we wrap up?
Can you just remind us, the working group on Friday, what's the topic?
Well, I was actually going to ask if we have a topic for that, or if not, if it's the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, if folks want to take the day off, or do we have stuff we want to work on?
The day off.
Day off, day off.
Okay. We'll cancel that then. All right.
You're good at those reactions, Daphne.
Was Daphne, you didn't want to cancel?
No, she's
No, cancel. Cancel's
Okay.
good.
Okay, I was looking down, doing the minutes here, so.
No.
How do you do the hands?
I put my other screen is down below now instead of, so I'm not looking over here. I have
Down
it.
at the bottom where it says at the bottom
Reactions.
of the screen. Yeah, you can do, there's just two. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Passed.
I move that we adjourn.
All right,
Second.
the meeting is adjourned and I'm going to
Bye.
stop recording.
All right, guys.
Nice hand.
Good seeing y'all.
Bye, take care.
Bye.